We go to the president. How important is the president's support in this? And it was I would consider his support in the State of the Nation address a few weeks ago.
His statement in the SONA, which is we had premises there.
Yes.
The premise is we should not relapse into the problems of education, like backlogs in school buildings, in classrooms, teachers, instructional materials and books. If we are able to solve this, and let us not go back to the ills in health, like maternal health, but we can only do this if we address the population issue and pass
Correct.
the responsible parenthood measure. But Maria, the responsible parenthood concept parallels
Yes.
reproductive health in their common salient features.
Okay.
One, they are both anti-abortion because that is our legal structure.
Yes.
Number two, they are both for freedom of choice.
Okay.
Number three, they respect religious conviction and beliefs. Number four, they promote freedom of informed choice. And number five, they promote both the natural to the modern family planning methods, especially those which are which would not inflict harm on the health of the mother or the acceptor, and would be legally safe because it's not abortive.
Yes.
And then truly effective.
Fantastic. So, how much support Congressman met with the president early this week, right? And then you had the vote on whether to move it out of debates. How much support is the president throwing behind this now?
Well, I think the president is giving a calibrated support, and it's step by step. The first step was to endorse the bill as a priority measure, which has done more than a year ago before the LEDAC and to Congress.
Okay.
Number two, to terminate the long, winding, repetitive debates.
Yes.
And that has been accomplished. Now the next would be the period of amendments, both the committee amendments and the individual amendments, before we go on second and third voting.
The opponents of the bill say that they will introduce killer amendments so that the advocates won't even want to pass this.
Well,
how do you respond to this?
Killer amendments, like any killer, should be hunted down. And we are willing to accept truly perfecting and refining amendments which will not destroy the essence of the bill. That's why the authors more than a year ago have already volunteered some amendments, and we have agreed to the proposed amendments of the president. And all of these are on record. For example, in order to obey acrimonious debates with respect to the so-called two-child policy, which they compare to China's one-child policy,
Yes.
we have decided to completely delete that provision on the ideal family size,
Correct.
which is not even punitive, it is not mandatory or compulsory. And number two, we have decided to delete the provision on employers' responsibilities.
Yes.
Because anyway, this is only a reiteration and augmentation of what the labor code already provides, and we think at the moment the labor code provision is adequate. Moreover, the organized employers and businessmen are in favor of the measure.
Yes.
We also decided to delete the prohibited act on malicious misinformation.
Yes.
About the act once it is passed, because anyway we don't want to curtail freedom of expression, and if there is any transgression of the freedom of expression, we have the libel laws under the revised penal code to
It's-
take care of all of these transgressions.
It's really good to see you optimistic that this can become law by August, that this can pass through Congress. Let me throw a question for you from @Jester in Exile. What else can the citizens do so that RH bill won't drag on and on?
Well, continue the clamor
Okay.
to have this enacted soon as, because almost 2 decades of surveys would document that the Filipino people are in favor of enacting this bill and also of using public funds for family planning and voluntary contraception, which is not abortive.
@Apple Pinch asks, how did you react to Congressman Danilo Suarez's withdrawal of support?
Well, the best example of how ambivalent is the withdrawal is his statement during the lunch last Monday in Malacanang when he was asked to speak. He said, "I have a hard time being an anti-RH because for a long time I have been pro-RH because for 3 Congresses, my good friend Danny has been a co-author of the bill during the 13th, 14th, and 15th Congresses."
Right.
I think it's only giving political support to the titular head of the opposition in the House who is against the measure. But I hope we all remember that former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo admitted that during when she was a young mother, she used contraceptives,
Correct.
possibly to limit her children as well as to limit pregnancies.
If you were to tell us what are the biggest hurdles now, I mean, it's great to hear you optimistic again passing, but what do you need help with right now to make sure it does get through?
Well, I think the greatest hurdle is mastering a quorum in the House.
Interesting.
Because if we have a quorum and we go to a vote,
Yes.
definitely this bill will get the assent of the members of the House. So I think it's a challenge to the leadership of the House to have this quorum every time we discuss the bill. And most probably not only this bill, but all other important measures pending before the House. Because if we don't have a quorum, that will be taken advantage of by the opponents of the measure, so that it can
Languish.
derail the
Yeah.
process.
Yes. From @Melody, kailangan ba talaga ng bill na yan? Can't we provide reproductive health care with all of our existing bills?
Well, we have to institutionalize through a national statute a comprehensive policy on reproductive health, responsible parenthood, population, and management, because we could not depend on the local government units, because there are
Correct.
local government units who have already enacted their own reproductive health bill to the embarrassment of the national government. And we could not depend on administrative measures being implemented by the Department of Health, for example, because it all depends on who are the incumbents and what is the persuasion of the current administration. That's why there is a need to institutionalize.
Has your strong advocacy of this bill affected your political career negatively in any way?
Well, I think it has even enhanced my political career, because in every election, the church would not forgive me for being the prime advocate of the bill.
And yet you
in the
went on
House.
to 6 terms in
And
Congress,
I am
right?
now on my 6th term,
Yes.
you know, because people will understand this kind of advocacy, because they need it, and they are aware that if they are given access
Yes.
to the correct family planning and reproductive health information, together with the products and commodities, then they will be able to really plan their families. We plan everything,
Yes.
Maria. We plan the policies of government. We plan our personal course of action. We plan tourism. We plan infrastructure. Why can't we not plan our own
Our
families?
families.